My name is Vivienne Schultz and I'm from the A2B Transformation Movement. The A2B Movement is an organization that offers a methodology and a system approach to corporate companies and to NGOs and to developmental organizations and even to educational organizations, where we have a method that teaches you a facilitation process in the workplace or in your organizational context, how to facilitate people to move towards independent responsiveness. And it shows you how to structure organizations that you don't perpetuate dependency but create constant movement of humans, so that a human is always in his maximum state of drive and his maximum state of volition, will to act, his willpower, his internal motivation for action. And what that does is it gives you the highest level of productivity and competencies in the workplace, and it creates a conscious human that is always conscious towards his task and towards his challenge. Well, the two lessons I would say was the strongest for me is that you have to be so proactive. Before you start your day, you already have to know what could possibly go wrong, and you've got to have your precautionary thoughts in place, and you've got to always know before others what the end result is that you want to achieve for the day. Communication is crucial, and you can never neglect very good communication, and you need to find so many creative ways of communicating, and to think that you can just talk communication, the verbal communication method is really not a good approach. You've got to find all the sensory ways of communicating, because we're dealing with a rainbow nation, and you've got to get people to really see what the end result is so that they can actually understand it in your whole communicative approach. Well, I always put myself out of comfort zone. I like to challenge myself into new situations. I like to make friends and form relationships with people who are better than me, so that I'm always in that state of I have to be challenged to get it right, and actually that makes me very happy, and that keeps me just going and wanting me to just go further. And then I realize actually there's much more to life than just this comfort zone scenario. Yes, I don't believe in this, the traditional CSI approach. I believe that that is really just a handout method. I believe that if you just on a long arm get forced to put a certain percentage of your money into a project or into CSI activities, then it is a bit of an uninvolved, non-ownership type of approach, and it's not a willingness to actually participate in the change that you want to see in the world. I believe that every corporate can actually, within the environments, they could actually do so many things to really develop their staff. You'll find they put money into a good cause, but they perpetrate their staff members and they don't develop people to high level of responsiveness, or they do things where they give handouts, and that doesn't actually develop a person's dignity and his ability to respond to higher levels of ability. I believe that you need to buy local. So the first thing a corporate should do is to buy local, because that immediately you create jobs. Why would you want to just give money to something that tries to attempt to create jobs, whilst you could have actually created jobs by just buying local? So there's so many values in a company that you need to actually live out before you need to give money out, and it could have much better effect than just this little 2% here and there. I mentioned two projects. The one is the African Happy Pants. It's a local job creation project. We found that in South Africa there's so many ladies that's got practical skills, and they've developed and they've got certificates on their walls, but they've never come to an entrepreneurial type of state of being. And the problem is that somebody has to create a national value chain for them, and the end result and the end product needs to be of a very high quality standard. So you've got to create some form of consortium and value chain. And we realized that you can't compete with a made in China or Eastern imports, so you've got to come up with niche market product ranges within the sewing skills sector, and also the typical industrial factory sector is also a sector that perpetuates people's dependency and keeps people in a state of dependency, and then eventually they strike and demand and unionize and whatever. So a decentralized industrial model is what our country really needs. And additional to that, we realized that if you can come up with a clothing range for corporate sector, for possibly happy pants to work Friday type of scenario, then you can start bringing in those designs and those values of a corporate into the clothing they wear. And you can equalize staff members where the CEO and the cleaner can actually wear the same type of product. They don't dress up, they don't power play with each other, they all can say we're all under construction, we are actually all the same on the inside. And if we can start creating a type of a culture with this national value chain, it can be so meaningful. So that is one initiative. And then another one is the Revive Eco-Deco. Revive Eco-Deco is an initiative where we upcycle paper pulp, and the paper pulp, it could be cardboard boxes or paper. It then is a green technology that upcycles it back into furniture pieces or into shop fitting or into cladding or interior decorating, agriculture, architectural type of product ranges. So that is a very green initiative, and you can really take a homeless person off the street and stop just giving handouts and giving soup kitchens, but involve them into opportunities of skill training and I can moments, and where they can earn while they learn from day one. So for those initiatives, we need quite a lot of millions to really roll out the product ranges and to print the materials, and South African made materials that gets South African, get made by South Africans, and so many people get employed by that. And also we don't have a scenario where they stay dependent. They've got to actually grow to higher levels of being go-getters and self-starters and problem solvers and decision makers. So it's on the web for them to see. Well, with regard to starting your own business or starting any organization, we just realize you've got to be very proactive. You've got to realize that the human factor is an insecure, there's a lot of insecurity and a low sense of self in most people, and they need to grow identity. And if you're not proactive and create an environment where people can keep on growing, then you are going to get problems. Our country is going to just get more and more problems if we don't have environments which is like ecosystems for change, where people are actually challenged to higher levels and where they can get more opportunity to grow, but where they've got to take ownership. So your whole environment has to be from the start ownership, responsibility, because if you have higher responsible people, then you will not have this pushing my rights scenario. So you need to be very cautious how to play this game, and that is what the A2B model is going to teach you when you start a company, that you can be proactive and not allow those little monkey tricks to come in the way, and for the organization eventually to go one step forward and 3 steps backwards because of all the human factors.